Welcome, dear listener, to another episode of Exploring Political Thought. Today we embark on an exploration of Plato's profound theory of education, a cornerstone in his vision of the ideal state. Plato's conviction that the state's success hinged upon a well-conceived and meticulously executed system of education underscores the significance he placed on molding and transforming human souls to achieve moral reform. The ideal state, ruled by philosopher kings, was intricately woven around the fabric of education. Plato ardently believed that if the state excelled in conducting and supervising education, it would inevitably succeed. In his eyes, education was not merely a means of imparting knowledge, rather, it served as a potent instrument of moral transformation, instilling values of selfless duty towards all and paving the way for the realization of a new social order. The magnitude of Plato's commitment to education is evident in the extensive attention he devoted to it, with substantial portions of books 2, 3, and X dedicated to the subject. The community of wives and property, a peripheral concern in comparison, was suggested by Plato to address distortions that education alone might not prevent. In Plato's eyes, the one sufficient thing for the success of the ideal state was the education of its guardians. He asserted that well-educated guardians would be capable of overseeing all aspects of the state. Education, according to Plato, held precedence over the community of wives and property, as it addressed the root causes of societal ills, while the latter aimed to prevent potential distractions. Commentators, such as Rousseau, recognized the paramount importance Plato assigned to education, hailing the Republic as the finest treatise on education ever written. Rousseau's Emile was a response to Plato's suggestions, emphasizing education as a cure for a multitude of problems, both soluble and insoluble. Plato viewed the state itself as an educational institution, emphasizing its significance as the one great thing. This emphasis on education stemmed from Socratic beliefs, particularly the idea that virtue is knowledge, underscoring the importance of cultivating the soul. Inspired by the successful state-controlled education system in Sparta, Plato sought to integrate Athenian values of creativity, excellence, and individual achievement with Sparta's focus on civic training. Plato's educational plan represented an Athenian conception of an educated individual rather than a Spartan one. He believed that individuals must not only be equipped with knowledge, but also instilled with civic sense. Plato aimed to balance individual creativity with social responsibility, creating a harmonious synthesis in his educational system. Plato's view of the human soul as capable of learning throughout its existence laid the foundation for a lifelong educational process. Knowledge acquisition, according to Plato, was pursued for the sake of perfection and excellence. He envisioned the mind as active and capable of directing itself toward objects of study, and proper nurturing would enable it to become receptive to the environment. Plato's educational philosophy centered on the idea that the virtue of the soul required regular and orderly arrangement, and education played a pivotal role in achieving this order. While Socrates viewed education as a waking of thought, Plato saw it as concerned with both rational and non-rational elements of the soul. An able teacher, in Plato's scheme, played a crucial role in shaping and encouraging thought in students. He integrated the Pythagorean idea of the immortality and transmigration of souls into his educational plan, believing that the human soul carried knowledge acquired through previous births. Reminiscences, according to Plato, were like flashes that occurred when the mind encountered objects. The interdependence of nature and nurture in shaping human character emerged as a crucial aspect of Plato's educational system. While he acknowledged differences in intelligence and capacities determined at birth, Plato believed that individuals could be molded within the limits of their nature. This perspective aligns with recent scholarly opinions emphasizing the equal influence of nature and nurture on human development. Plato's confidence in shaping young minds extended to the belief that, when directed properly, young minds could be molded and trained to restrain desires. Early education played a crucial role in developing the full potential of individuals, and the educator's role was to instill values of simplicity, justice, conformity to a single principle, and acceptance of an austere life. Elementary education, in Plato's vision, consisted of music and gymnastics. It aimed to create harmonious individuals by blending gentle and fierce qualities. Gymnastics provided poise to feelings and tempered spirits, while music aimed to soften the spirit by developing the power of right opinion. The artistic elements of poetry, literature, and various art forms carried moral suggestions, fostering a love for doing the right thing. Plato emphasized censorship of literature and music to encourage virtues necessary for the guardian class, reinforcing the supremacy of reason. Censorship aimed to shield impressionable young minds from harmful ideas, and Plato prescribed specific modes of music and literature to instill courage, temperance, and other virtues. Plato's educational plan mandated strict diet control, aiming to cultivate poise of feelings, control of emotions, and a harmonized social being. The beautiful and harmonious environment, according to Plato, left an indelible impression on the soul, contributing to the overall development of individuals. The transition from elementary to higher education was marked by 2 years of compulsory military training. Plato intended to strengthen the spirit of the guardians without making it rigid or harsh. This period of military training aimed to prepare the guardians for their role as professional warriors. Higher education, commencing at the age of 20, involved a selection process. Those selected would undergo an advanced course in mathematics, encompassing arithmetic, plane and solid geometry, astronomy, and harmonics. This first phase of higher education would last for 10 years, with a subsequent selection process at the age of 30. The second phase of higher education focused on dialectics or metaphysics, logic, and philosophy. Those who qualified would study the idea of good and the first principles of being, receiving partial experience for ruling. Plato envisioned a carefully crafted educational journey that culminated in philosopher rulers, fully equipped to devote their lives to contemplation, philosophy, and political obligations. In conclusion, Plato's theory of education emerges as a comprehensive and sophisticated system, intricately linked to his vision of the ideal state. Education, in Plato's eyes, was not just a means of impart